One of the few commanders I haven't touched upon yet since coming back is Senelle. And Senelle, I feel like, is shrouded in a little bit of mystery, in that she is obviously seen in this min-maxed female cavalry build, which we see a lot currently at the top levels of the game. It's currently, by far and away, probably the best soloing build in particular, because of the 1 second snowball damage from Salma, and then weaving that into more wildfire damage at 1 second, Daenerys' dragon and whatnot, and it just really gives you a big numbers advantage really quickly. And Senelle is obviously a core component of that, but I'm not sure many people, even those that use her, properly know how to quantify exactly what her 4-star ability is bringing you in a fight, and that is going to be the purpose of this video. So, like all videos I do like this, I have all the details mapped out in a Google Doc here, all the theory crafting, report examples, stats at 4-star, and I'm just going to go over that and talk through exactly what she is going to be bringing you. So first of all, her stats. The most relevant things up here will be the 106% cavalry attack and the 40% anti-counter against spears for cavalry. And her 4-star ability is listed here. So each time ally commanders cast a total of 10 active army skills, purify the debuffs of Senelle and her lineup, and increase the skill damage of all female commanders by 65%. Stacks up to 4 times, which is a total of 260%. The purification part of this is silences, bleeds, and disarms. So disarms come from the likes of Cersei and Daenerys. That will be quite relevant in mirror matches with female cav versus female cav, because if you can cleanse the disarms of the likes of a Cersei on one of your lineups, that can actually be quite a big damage swing. Bleed will obviously come from the likes of Rhea with Jon, and silenced you'll see from something like the weakness casino skin. That's a bit more rare. Obviously, the main point of emphasis here will be every 10 active casts, your active cast for all your females will be buffed up by 65%. So this is a command damage increase. It's not a flat damage increase. So the base damage coefficient of an active ability is 260%. You can increase that by 30% with one of the casino skins, and you can also increase it by 20% with Dragon Strong Assault, the dragon skill, to a maximum of 310%. So in the grand scheme of things, whilst it is still a significant damage increase, don't look at this and think, oh my god, my actives are going to be doing double damage when they get Senelle buffed, because that is not how it works. The tooltip, when you actually look in reports, as I have examples here, is very confusing. It seems consistently quite bugged from what I can tell, and I haven't found any examples myself where it just goes 65% to 130% to 195%, which is what you would expect it to do, because it's what it says it does. But you see here, like, it jumps on the first proc of it to 85%. It jumps here from 85% to 152%, which is a 67% increase, which is just very weird. All the theory crafting I've done here is assuming these are just visual errors, and it is 65%, but there's not really any way to know for sure if that's actually the case. So I have on the left here how many active casts you're going to be getting from your full lineup of 5 female commanders as it goes through the fight. So with a Salma composition, actives will cast at 1 second, 11, 21, and 31, and then the next set of active casts seemingly get queued for 41 seconds and don't cast. The only exception to this is Daenerys, who isn't really factored in any of this analysis whatsoever, but she will make Senelle slightly better than listed here. And obviously the breakpoints we're going to want to be looking for here is every 10 actives, and perhaps more specifically how many actives we have beyond the breakpoints of 10, 20, and 30. Because obviously here, for example, these extra 8.8 active casts, on average, these are averages obviously according to the average amount of active casts with Layla at different points. So you can have 45 actives in one fight, you can have 30 in another, it will vary. Yeah, as you look down here, for example, with this 4-star Layla weapon variable, you'll only have 8.8 active casts, receiving that 195% buff, and you'll pretty consistently be getting 10 of each with these first two buff breakpoints. You will quite often with female potentially end fights early if you're dramatically stronger than someone, so you won't get to these higher points if the fight is ending at like between 20 and 30 seconds, but these are the maximums of what Senelle can give you. And I can troll over explaining all this in greater depth, but the most relevant stuff here will be these two columns here. And the number here is a commander damage increase. So you can see, depending on where your Layla weapon is at, it will be somewhere between, on average, an increase of 2,100% and 3,700% damage coefficient from Salma being in your lineup. So that's the equivalent of about 21 to 37 normal attacks. If you convert that to fully buffed active casts instead, you can see it peaks out at about 12 additional active casts. And that's quite a high number, actually, because if you see here, that is a bigger jump in active damage than going from no Layla to base 4-star Layla. And it's a significantly bigger increase than just having normal 4-star Layla to 4-star Layla weapon equipped. So it will be a very significant commander damage increase. Unfortunately, it will be dealt later in the fight, which is unideal for female, because you will want to be doing your commander damage ideally on that first second, or at latest the 11th second, to really be giving yourself as big an edge as early as possible. In terms of where this compares to other F5s, I haven't covered them all yet. I need to cover Cersei, which I'll probably do quite soon. But base Sandor caps out with 4-star Sonara weapon at about 2,000% more as a damage coefficient increase. Amidon, even after his buffs, if I can find his buffs down here. So Amidon, even post buff, is only 2,000% as a damage coefficient. So Senelle is a peak value, giving about double that, which is very significant. I mean, she is a very, very good commander. If you're running Cav, the anti-counter alone is ridiculously valuable. The question I mostly have is, moving forwards, as we see all these F5 weapons released, what is her weapon going to end up as? Because we're actually seeing, and this is the trigger for this video, quite a few of these top accounts cutting Senelle from their lineups because they're running Night King with 4-star weapon in her place. So they're doing Layla Salma, Cersei with 4-star weapon, Dany with 4-star weapon ideally, and then Night King. And obviously Senelle not having her weapon released puts herself at a big disadvantage because all of those other 5 commanders have their weapons and you can get them up to 4-star for huge buffs. So I would expect them to increase the skill damage increase here. If they increase the stacks up to limit at all, that will be totally irrelevant and just awful. If they reduce the required triggers for it, that will be the most ideal for female players, I think. If they make that, maybe go to 9, 8, 7 on the first, second, third stars, or even go to like 8 on the base weapon and then 6 on the 4-star, Senelle will be absolutely bonkers, to be honest. So keep an eye on that if you're a female player. If they touch the triggers required at all, she will be insanely, insanely OP.